Hey, I'm here. I'm live. We've made it all through the week to this point. Hello. Welcome. Say hello when you join me so I know that you can hear me because I can't hear you. No. It's Friday. It's feeling cooler. Got the heater on. I think the mild weather is over. I think we're being plunged into cold. Hello, Jeanette. I think we're being plunged into cold air again. Hi, MJ. Hi, Caroline. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Tony. Hi, Aaron. Thank you, Paul. Hello, Biscuits and Groovy. So, yeah, we've made it through another week. Can you believe that the week has passed so quickly? I can't. Hi, Andy. Hi, Nettie. Yeah, I believe we're going to get a blast of cold from the east. That's what's going to happen. Whether it's going to be a beast from the east is another matter. Hi, Kajagu. Grey and windy in Nova Scotia. Less than 2 weeks until 2026. You know, they keep saying on adverts and things in the news, well, it's the week before Christmas. It's like, yeah, we know. We don't need to keep telling us that. Hello, I think we can work it out. We all have calendars. Hello, Ziploc. Hello, Trevor. Thanks for joining me this evening. Yeah, it's feeling chilly, and you know, I've got the usual clothing on and the scarf and the gloves because yeah, it is starting to feel chilly, and it was a clear sunny day. What was the weather like today for you? Was it good? We had plenty of sunshine. Absolutely gorgeous. Hi, Rebecca. Yep, the solstice is fast approaching. Shortest day of the year, and the reason for celebration at this time of year, of course. And the baby Jesus as well. Yeah. Although, you know, I've said it before, the scholars say that baby Jesus wasn't born at this time of year. Why on earth we keep celebrating it? Why can't we just turn it to solstice celebrations? Hi, Donna. Hi, Linny. Jeanette, you've gotten the lust for ice hockey. Oh, well, there we go. Hi, Leslie. Yeah, we've had quite a lot of rain recently, haven't we? Yesterday was horrendous. Was it yesterday? Was it, Paul? Yes, it was. Yeah. I can't remember. All the days just blend into one at the moment. They really do. They really do. Oh no, you got soaked. Oh dear. Did you go out yesterday in the rain, Paul? You did. You went shopping, didn't you? You went to Lidl, to the new Lidl.
I did.
The new Lidl is now open in our area. We had one for years and years and years, and it was next to Pound Stretcher, which I liked. I liked a little mosey round Pound Stretcher every 5 years or so. And they've sort of merged it. They've knocked it through into one big Lidl. Paul's not terribly happy with the layout of the tills, are you, Paul?
No.
Why aren't you, Paul? Why?
Because they're mainly self-service and they're all one bag ones.
They're self-service. I can't even work those self-service ones. Paul, there is one thing missing from this evening that you will need to do for me before we go any further.
Water.
I need a glass of water. One is feeling rather dry. Ice hockey is your new hobby, Jeanette. Oh, wow. So, Tony, you had a new fence yesterday. Just having a look at the comments. Gandalf's gaff. You just got in from spin class. Going to tuck into a warm baguette smothered in Irish butter. How lovely. Hi, Grace. Sarah, you had 2 Christmas parties this week. I'll take the water, thank you, Paul. Thank you so much. My vase of water. Hi, Cheryl. 2 Christmas parties, wow. Big little, yeah, exactly. Rather than a little. I don't like the self-service things. I mean, I don't like them because whenever I've tried them, it's always sort of shouted at me and things have beeped and a person came over anyway to help me because it was saying I was being illegal or something. I don't know. Warning, warning, shoplifter. I don't know. I can't remember what happened. I blanked it out because of the trauma. Hello, Nancy. Hello, Lexi. Well, I mean, the thing is, surely it's doing people out of jobs, isn't it? Hi, Rebels Pad. Is that right? Hi, Whitson's mum. You met Elvis this week in Lidl. Yeah, sports aren't really my thing. I don't really watch sports on television. I just don't see the point. I tried watching tennis once and I tried watching football as well, and I just didn't get any of it. I just found it all a little bit. They look like video games now. They put all those special effects over the top, don't they? The player names and yeah, it just looks like a video game. You may as well just play a video game. That's my point of view. No, I agree, Caroline. I totally agree. Those things baffle me. You know, put your bag here now and press this and weigh this and do that. I don't want to do all of that. I'm doing their job. Yeah. No, I don't watch anything like that. I've never been particularly good at sport. I was very good at running. Very good at running. The problem was when I was a child, I'll tell you a little story now, a little more about me as a child, a little gay boy in the 70s who was also very short-sighted, but nobody knew I was short-sighted. I thought everybody saw like that. I thought everybody saw in soft focus. So put me, little gay boy, never played football at 6 years of age or whatever, onto a football field. Hi, Sally. Onto a football field with a load of other boys who knew what they were doing because they'd watched football and played football. I hadn't. I just sort of, I don't know, it was like imagine a shoal of fish and you're just following the fish because you're another fish. That's all I did, just run around following everybody. And then I wondered why people were shouting at me when the ball came near me and I just ignored it. So I didn't know anything like that. I couldn't see things properly. I didn't really know what to do. So it kind of alienated me from any kind of sport. Yeah. And I never developed an enjoyment for it. I did try. I tried things like badminton, quite enjoyed that. Oh, I tell you what I did enjoy. Swing ball. I was good at swing ball. I tell you, really good. Yeah. MJ, yeah, kind of. Same thing. Yeah, I think it was the same for a lot of young gay boys who didn't feel as though they fitted in, especially in the 70s. Um, I never felt as though I fitted in with the other boys, although I could be very boyish as well. You know, I liked, I don't know, jumping around and running and jumping off things. And I don't know, I was very active in that way. I was always running around, always on a bike, roller skates, things like that. That's what I enjoyed. If roller skating had been a sort of sport back then, I probably would have excelled. Yeah, swing ball is basically a ball on a rope on a sort of spiral. And swing ball sets used to have like a little thing that used to pop up when the ball would reach the bottom or the top. My set did anyway, to show who'd sort of won, if you like. So yeah, I was the same as well. I never got picked for anything. I was one of the last people to get picked for a team. But as I say, I could run very fast. I was excellent at the 100 meters. Um, and my secondary school kind of spotted this and entered me for a county championship thing. And I was so not wanting to do it, but they were kind of insisting that I took part because I was the fastest runner in the school. And I didn't show up. I refused to go. And of course, got stick for it. You've let the school down, blah, 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 da, 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 da. Yeah, whatever. But I could also play to my strengths at school. I was a good singer. I was a good actor. I wasn't afraid of getting on stage and talking to people en masse. You know, I had strengths. So, yeah, I probably did have the longest legs and I was stick thin as well. Yeah. So, you know, you have to get to grips, I think, as a young person. You have to get to grips with what you're good at and try and excel at that. And I did, you know, in later years in secondary school, I used to do public speaking competitions. Um, yeah, like I say, you know, I was always in the school play, legal. Yeah, so, you know, you play to your strengths, don't you? Grace, you went to an all-girls school and you were always the last one and never got picked. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Those kind of activities do make certain people feel a bit isolated and a bit left out. And yeah, it's not very nice, is it? Hi, Leslie. Well, it's interesting because when it got to a certain stage in secondary school, I think when it got to the fourth year and we began to be seniors, you sort of felt a bit more in control. I certainly did. And I sort of found my feet, um, because I knew I could make people laugh. I could command an audience to a certain extent. So I felt as though I sort of started to come into my power. And I think if you start to sense that and use it in the right way, hi, Angela, um, then you kind of feel a bit more in control. And I think that's the thing in life, you know, a lot of things in life are about having a sense of control over your environment, your immediate environment, and maybe sometimes having a sense of control over others who previously did you down in some way, you know, having the upper hand, without feeling too powerful, if you like. Um, yeah, hey ho. Hi, Sally. Welcome. So I think, Jeanette, you asked what we're doing for Christmas. So Christmas, we have got a couple of friends coming over on Christmas Day. Our French friend from down the road, who, if you've watched my vlogs, you will have briefly met at some point in the past, recently, I think in the summer. And she's coming over with her sister, so we're going to be cooking. And I think this year, rather than a nut roast, we're going to do a roast, a nut roast Wellington, which is basically a nut roast encased in pastry. So what we will be doing is filming some of the preparation. There won't be a standard episode of Richard and Paul Cook next week. It will be rather a sort of special. And a couple of people have said, oh, are you doing another Christmas special? We've only ever done one Christmas special ever in the 8 years we've been doing this. So we won't be doing any Christmas specials again. That was far too much of a hard work to do that. I will be doing the pastries, seeing as I have become a pastry expert. And with the nut roast Wellington will be our usual dish, parsnips in Gruyere, which is absolutely delicious, along with steamed vegetables and a gravy as well. No, you won't be getting a Christmas special. Sorry, that's not happening. So I haven't got time to make a Christmas special this year. And as I say, we did one. We've only ever done one. So if you want a Christmas special, you'll have to watch the old one. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know about I'll be live next week as usual, I think, Friday. I mean, let's remember, in a flash, this whole thing will be over. In a flash. Before you know it, I'll be here again. It'll be next week and Christmas will be finished. So there you go. Oh, thank you, Sally. The apple pie was fantastic. Really enjoyed it. It will be business as usual with the videos. The only special you're going to get is the cookery preparations, which we're going to be filming. We may even film a little bit on Christmas Day, but I don't think we'll be going live on Christmas Day. We did do a Boxing Day. We've done a couple of live shows, I'm sure, at Christmas. Yeah. But I think we're going to just keep the rhythm, you know, as usual, as much as possible. I think a lot of people just, I mean, it's so much. It's so much to do. Yes, Nancy, I noticed that. Thank you so much. Well, you know, I don't think 2026 was too bad.
What, even though it hasn't happened yet?
2025, I mean. I think this year's been okay. Certainly for me, it's been about personal change. It's almost a year since I left my job. I would like 2026 to be consistent in terms of what we do on YouTube. I think we found a good formula now that's working for us really well and working for the viewer, because that's what it's all about, you guys. We've sort of settled into a rhythm now of video making. I'm hoping it gets to a point where we don't have to make as many videos. But I think I've said before that if we don't make this number of videos, we don't earn enough money to live on. So it's my job to keep that going and keep it rolling, and to keep on coming up with new ideas for cookery. You know what we tend to do? We tend to come up with new ideas for new little mini series. So hopefully that will continue. Richard and Paul Cook will continue. What are we having? to eat? Are we having pasta?
Mm.
Oh, somebody mentioned pizza. Yeah, the pie plate. Love using the pie plate. It's really good. Well, love to take some time off, Karen, but that's not going to happen. We still, even if we take time off and go somewhere, it still involves producing video because we like to take you along, you know. So what we've got to realize is that at least our time and our use of time is flexible, you know. Oh, next Friday is Boxing Day. Thank you, Rebecca. You know, this time of year, it just all becomes a little bit blurred, doesn't it? Yeah, I like a routine, Sarah. Oh, Jeanette's mentioned pizza. A pizza recipe. We don't have pizza very often, but Paul does a really good pizza. Really good, and makes the base himself. Hi, Mark. Hope you're well too. Yeah, I mean, it did take a while to get used to not having, you know, the part-time job, which I had, 2.5 days a week. I'm working twice as hard as I used to and making half the amount of money. But, you know, hey ho. I feel as though 2025 has been relatively successful in terms of my goal setting, in terms of aiming to get into a routine with the videos, keep producing consistent videos, staying on track, you know, all of that kind of thing. I think I've succeeded at. I just want to continue that routine. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you why. What you've got to, Linny, you've got to remember that a lot of channels pay to have their videos promoted. So on YouTube, there is a feature called Promote, and you can promote a video to get it pushed to more people. So, but you have to pay for that. And that's what a lot of channels do. So they get pushed ahead of everybody else. That's what happens when you've got money. It's the same in everything. You've got money, you can get ahead. So we prefer to allow the channel to grow organically because we're not going to pay for promotion, can't afford it. But what we do realize is that with steady growth of the channel and being very consistent with our content and being as real as we can be ourselves, not sensational or anything like that, we've got a really good core audience of viewers who come back time and time again because they enjoy what they're viewing, like you guys. And we, you know, make little changes here and there to keep things fresh. But that's what we prefer to do because, yeah, it's kind of a bit fake paying for your video to be promoted. We're trying to go on our content, which is consistently original, consistently us, and faithful to who we are. And we prefer to be honest in that way, you know? Oh, it was you that said about pizza. Okay, you're making me feel hungry now, Sarah. Oh, I hate it when computers tell you, you must restart in 3 minutes. No, I don't want to restart in 3 minutes. I'm in the middle of something. Oh, I mean, you know, there are so many channels that have raced ahead of us, you know. There are plenty of channels that started around the same time as us and have just raced ahead, you know, because sometimes niche content does better than variety content. But I'd hate to be stuck in a niche, you know. I think that would really be boring, you know. What did you say, Paul? Did you say something? What's happened, Paul?
No, it's fine.
Wow.
Sue.
So in terms of our earnings on YouTube, it's not bad at the moment. It's nowhere near what I used to earn. But yeah. I wish I was strengthening my core, MJ. I could do with that. In fact, that is one of my vague goals. I don't make New Year's resolutions, but I would like to increase my level of exercise because I'm not getting enough. Wow, thank you, Sue. That's amazing. Absolutely incredible. Thank you so much. What have I missed? Thank you, Sally. I really enjoyed doing the tree. Yeah, Rebecca, authenticity is key, I think. I mean, you guys know that I can, I camp it up on Sunday Chat because I kind of like to have a fun time, and I like to make people laugh, so if the opportunity arises for me to say something fun that I think you're going to laugh at, then I will take that opportunity and allow it just to happen naturally, and I think that's great. Thank you, Lexi. Well, we like to cook as healthily as possible, Nancy. And recently, I mean, we have been using quite a bit of butter recently, which is a bit of a luxury, but I think making a pastry is just lovely with butter, We may try some vegan butters at some point. Just catching up. Tony, you like the purple on the tree? I love the purple on the tree. Now, I bought those decorations, I mean, it must have been 15 years ago, something like that. When we used to actually, believe it or not, we had 2 trees in the house, 2 real trees that would very often be occupied on a regular basis by several cats in the centre. They used to go up the centre of the tree. We used to buy those quite open ones. Is it Nordman fir? Not sure. But yeah, and I bought the purple, silver and pearlized ornament selection. And I think I added a couple of extra baubles the year later, but then we kind of gave it all up and stopped doing it. And I stashed everything away neatly, so they've survived really well. I love the purple with a little bit of gold threaded through and, the pearlized tones as well. I love it. Thank you, Kajagu. Any cake this week? No cake this week for us, but we did have the bread and butter pudding, which was absolutely fantastic. Even better the day before, because it kind of goes a bit squidgier. Leslie, you made a pie yesterday. Oh, excellent. Oh, brilliant. That's great. I love to hear it. When you guys tell me that you've cooked something that I have inspired you to cook, I feel great. I really do. It really, honestly, it really does make me feel good. Don't get emotional. It makes me feel slightly emotional. It's just great that, you're passing on some information. I know most of you know how to cook, but I think when somebody uses a technique or a recipe or a method, it's just great. Fantastic. Thank you for telling me. We love butter. I love cooking with butter. Hi, Derek. Sally, dishcloths, knitting. So, in fresh news this week, I have picked up the knitting again. I was talking to my friend about this earlier. My friend who made Paul some socks and made me that beautiful knitted scarf with the Celtic knot on it. I was talking with her today. In fact, I've had 2 lovely conversations with friends today. And I was telling her I've picked it up in the specific aim to do a swatch and to make some deliberate mistakes. I'll be talking about it in my vlog on Wednesday. And I have learned that there was a few issues with it as well. It wasn't all plain sailing, I can tell you right now. There was nearly death by knitting needle. Nearly. I do very often the garter stitch, and I needed to learn how to fix a dropped stitch in the garter stitch. And I was looking at all these videos and I thought, I was trying it out and it just wasn't working. And I thought, what am I doing wrong? And I realized I'm looking at people doing knitting, not with the garter stitch. That I thought that knitting doesn't look like mine. What am I? Then I realized I needed to look up repairing dropped stitch in the garter stitch. And then I came across a couple of videos that did suit me and I managed to learn it eventually. So I've learned a new skill. I'm very, very happy about that. So I'm going to be picking up very soon the dishcloth knitting and I'm going to crack it if it kills me. Yeah, so there you go. And I'll be sharing that with you. Yeah. Oh, that's nice, Caroline. Fondue, love fondue. So vegan cheeses, we've had a couple of vegan cheeses and yeah.
Had a good feta.
We had a good feta, but we had another one and it wasn't, it didn't hit the mark for me. That sounds good, Nancy. I love panettone. I think we said in the bread and butter pudding video, we made a bread and butter pudding with leftover panettone one year. It was delightful. Anything sweet is delightful. You've got a mushroom theme, Tony. That sounds interesting. Sally, the bread and butter pudding is delicious. Oh, you made the Chorley biscuits. Excellent. They are good, aren't they? Just catching up with the comments. Walnut whips. I love walnut whips, but I was put off one year when I found a creature in one. Seriously. The lasagna, it's fantastic, isn't it? It's a really good one. Oh, good, Cheryl, I'm glad. I think once you crack a white sauce and you get it right, I think you know how to do it, and that's it. It does help having a whisk. Yeah, that's what I need to crack, Tony, the fixing elements, fixing of knitting and issues. And I want to try and crack that first before I take things any further. And yes, thank goodness for YouTube tutorials. However, there are quite a few that don't hit the mark as well. You know, I've seen so many where they'll say, and all you do is just get to this point and then just flip the stitch and twist this around and do that and this, and you've done it, you fixed it. It's like, I didn't even see what you did. I didn't even see what you did. It was too fast. You were talking too quickly, and I just don't understand. And I get to the point where I think I'm the one that has got a problem when I look at this mass of noodles that I can't fix. So I'm trying to learn exactly what happens when you do knit. What happens to the yarn? Where does it go? How does it wrap itself around itself and create those little loops? That's what I need to really get to grips with, to understand the structure. And I've watched a few videos about, one of you recommended, looking at one by, I think it was Nimble Needles, Norman, about the anatomy of a stitch. One of you suggested to look at that, and I did, and it was quite helpful. Although Norman sometimes doesn't fully explain things, but he seems very sweet. I do like to try and learn something new on a fairly regular basis. When we started the YouTube channel, we both had to learn how to edit, because I'd done music editing, and it is very similar to music editing, but you're working with fewer bits of data. But yeah, it's good to learn new things, create a few more, whatever they call it, synapses and neurons, join a few neurons together. Yeah, before they die forever. What did you say about my dishcloth? A huge dishcloth. Well, a blanket is basically a large dishcloth. Yeah. I mean, I could, in theory, just knit loads of very, very long scarves and then sew them all together. I mean, that's a blanket. But we don't need any more throws and blankets, Paul. We've got enough to literally last us a lifetime. Especially those Welsh blankets. They'll last forever. Just having a look at the comments. Oh, happy Christmas. The East Coast Terrace, the Gone Potties, the ex-Gone Potties. Yay! Thank you for joining us. Well, the creature was actually in the walnut whip itself. Listen, if there's going to be something in food, it's going to be in my food. I can guarantee it. I'm the one that eats the soft food and finds something crunchy in it. Yeah, it's me. Oh, yeah, exactly, Donna. I remember as a child eating a small fly that was stuck to a lollipop. I remember saying to my mum, Mum, there's a fly on my lollipop. She said, oh, just eat it and shut up. Probably got slapped around the ear hole. Well, another thing, Sally, that's smaller than it used to be, Terry's chocolate orange.
That's it, chocolate orange.
Paul bought a couple, as he normally does at Christmas, from Lidl. Yeah, they're little now. They're tiny. It's more like a Terry's chocolate clementine. It really is. We'll eat it anyway, though. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, Cheryl, when I was a child, and just to prove to you about me finding anything in food, I remember biting into a fig roll, which is a little fig biscuit, and finding a piece of glass. And it was a big, well, obviously not bigger than a fig roll, but it was a big shard of glass. And it was at my grandparents' house. My granddad wrote off to whoever it was that manufactured the fig rolls. And he was sent, no kidding, he was sent a huge, huge box of fig rolls, massive cardboard box filled with box upon box of fig rolls. That's what they used to do in those days. They would compensate you immediately before you could say anything more about it, to shut you up. And we were quite happy with that. I was, anyway. Now, Linny, yeah, somebody else has suggested going to a knit and natter group. Yeah, Paul, it was. I don't think I'm the kind of person that joins those kind of groups. I'm a bit disruptive when it comes to groups. Have I considered pursuing anything with my photography? Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate that. The problem with most contests is you have to pay to enter. Like most things, you have to pay to enter. And they want you to submit multiple entries. So it ends up costing like, 150 quid to submit 3 entries. And then, and if you do win, very often the prizes aren't that good, and it's usually photographic equipment. I don't need any photographic equipment now. I gave a load of photographic equipment away 2 years ago because I never used it. So I don't think it's something I'd pursue.
But of course, you did enter a Kew Gardens one and won.
I did enter a competition and won it, but I was the runner-up. But ended up getting the prize because the winner didn't claim the prize. But yeah, so I've kind of done it. Yeah. Weren't they called Pyramint? Yes, Pyramint, Sarah. I loved Pyramint. Loved any chocolate. Don't get me started on talking about all the chocolates I've eaten in my lifetime, because I've usually had all of them. We're probably better off talking about the ones we didn't like. I can't think of any now. Yeah, of course. Knitting squares and joining them together. Exactly. Exactly, Cheryl. Don't let me talk about the dates. Oh, disgusting. I'll never eat dates again. Yeah, exactly, Grace. In those days, you got a slap round the ear hole for just opening your mouth. Hi, Marilyn. Well, Sarah, isn't that proof that chocolate oranges were larger than they are now? Well, Paul got 2 chocolate oranges, and I think the other week he bought some Quality Street, didn't you?
Yeah.
And some After Eight. So I think that's our chocolate. I haven't started eating them yet, and probably won't. Hi, Judy. Just looking at the comments. Sorry, I'm really, really behind on the comments. A photography group. Yeah, I don't know. I feel as though with my job as a content creator now, which is literally full time, with a few gaps here and there, I think I've got enough on my plate at the moment. I did actually attend many, many years ago. I attended with a friend a photography group. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure about groups. Yeah. I've never really wanted to join groups. I just don't think I'm one of those people that does that kind of thing. Because what tends to happen with me with things like that is I decide to do it, I go along, and then the next week comes along and I think, oh, I really don't want to go. It's like when you make plans, you know, get to a certain age and yeah, I regret making plans because I've got my CBA syndrome. That's what you've got to consider. I've not got anything against those groups. Let me just make that clear. You know, I think it's great that people have stuff they can do, you know, and connect with people and all of that. Maybe I'm just not in the mood at this point in my life to want to connect with people en masse in a group at the moment. Yeah, I don't know. I did run a life coaching group at one point in the local community hall. Yeah, that was quite fun, but I was in control of it. So maybe that made a difference. I don't know. When people are relying on you to do something for them, that's a different kettle of fish. You know, I would not let a group of people down. Be afraid of dates. Be very afraid. Yeah, you see, that's the thing, Linny. I would want to get on with the knitting. I'd want to know. I'd want to be picking people's brains about the knitting. Oh, 3 tubs of chocks since November. That's naughty. Matchmakers, love matchmakers. Well, exactly, that's the thing. But with this group, we're meeting virtually and nobody has to put their cameras on other than me because I'm the leader of the group. So, you know, that it's a different dynamic, isn't it? You know, and I mean, I was a trainer, you know, in previous jobs. I was a trainer for 3 organizations. And obviously, as a trainer, you're leading the group, you're imparting knowledge, you're making sure that people are understanding, you're checking people's understanding. So there's much more of a responsibility in those situations, and you've really got to know your stuff, and you've really got to have infinite patience because people learn at different rates, people have different learning styles, you have to be able to assess those learning needs, all of that. So it's a kind of multi-layered situation that you're in. You're keeping people happy in the room, you keep keeping people engaged as much as possible. You know, you're doing so many different things that, you know, you're using a lot of energy. So doing this is different. I don't know whether it's easier or harder. I don't know. I'm having to talk constantly, try not, you know, have any big gaps other than checking the comments. Yeah, Derek, I think that's probably one of my fears because I also know myself quite well. And because of what I've just said, i.e., I was a trainer, I was a, you know, group leader, I think I have a tendency to want to take over and be the loudest, that kind of thing. I think that's part of my nature. That's the performer in me. So give me a group of people. I'm either going to be a typical Virgo and shrink into the background, or the performer in me wants to push the leader of the group out of the way and say, you're no good, I'm taking over. It's my group now. Do you know what I mean? I think, yeah, that's probably one of my fears. I'll either blend into the background and not fit in at all, or try to fit in and not enjoy it, or I'll take over. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Jeanette. You've got no control on the other people there. Hi, Ronnie. Oh, Claire, mint matchmakers. They do orange ones as well. They used to, didn't they? That's interesting, Cheryl. I guess I could, Sally, but it depends how interesting the gossip is. Yeah, Marilyn, if you were to read my school reports, it kind of implies at a certain point that I was the loudest, mainly because my voice broke before everybody else's. So I stuck out like a sore thumb. And I was taller than everybody else as well. But yeah, I did tend to be the one, yeah, being the loudest and trying to get a laugh. Yeah. Hi, Barty. You've had a busy day in Southport, Ronnie. Lovely. Yeah, Sarah, that's also the thing. It's also the thing with training groups of people as well. You know, you have to keep people, a big part of training is keeping people engaged. And how you keep people engaged has to be very varied, you know? I do have a Leo rising, yeah. I've got a Capricorn moon as well. Hi, Kevin. Fresh Fields, wasn't that with what's her name? Julia Mackenzie. Yeah, I remember that. So I think I've caught up with most of the comments. Are we revisiting classic TV shows? I tell you what we are about to do again, is start the Golden Girls from the start.
Yay!
We have the collection out and ready to go because we've kind of been watching Murder, She Wrote again at lunch times. I mean, we'll be able to recite those soon. It's ridiculous, really. We should look at others. I remember watching Fresh Fields, actually, not regularly. It was one of those ones that, a bit like One Foot in the Grave, we watched one of those the other night. Very dark in places. I used to catch that occasionally and watch it. Fresh Fields was the same. It was an occasional watch. Well, Caroline, we are honoured with your presence here. Thank you. Love the Golden Girls. Paul's a Leo. Paul's a double Leo. Which Golden Girl is Blanche? Dorothy. I was going to say, I'm not Blanche. Sorry, just catching up. Butterflies. Now, we watched Butterflies recently. Found it actually, in places, quite a difficult watch.
Yeah.
There is one scene in particular where Ria is fantasizing about, I can't say the word, we're not allowed to on YouTube, I don't think, but she's fantasizing about being RAPED, you know, and that was really shocking, actually, because I think attitudes towards that in those days was very different, you know.
She was hoovering the carpet, wasn't she?
Yeah.
It was very odd, that scene.
it had some moments in it. I think it was infused with great sadness, Butterflies, as well. And yes, people used to find the the poor cookery sketches really funny, um, but it was it was a real comment on how many women felt, I think, at that time. You know, yeah, Ronnie, I'm hoping to be, yeah, a punnet of cranberries on your doorstep. No room in the freezer. Make them into a compote. Can you do cranberries? Oh, cranberry sauce. That's quite nice. Didn't we do cranberry sauce one year with herbs and not herbs, with spices? Yeah, I think Butterflies is bittersweet. Yeah. And ultimately quite sad, I think. Mind you, Carla Lane, as a writer, that's kind of how she rolled, wasn't she? You know, she did all of that kind of bittersweet stuff. Yeah. I used to like cranberry juice, but it's not very healthy, is it? It's usually sweetened. Yeah, there you go. So we're 56 minutes in now, people. So we're going to start tying up. Surgical spirit, remember it. Yeah. Thank you, Ronnie. Yeah, we're really pleased with having the tree this year. It's quite cozy, quite fun to have. And yeah, we do have one present under the tree. Thank you, Shanti. Thank you, Nancy. Yeah, you are, Stevie Weavy. You're very late to the party. We're about to start tying up. Yeah. Yeah, we're really pleased. It's it's just a bit of fun. And you know, it's been a long time since we've done that. So yeah, bread. Bread. Loved bread. When it first started, it was the best. So let's have a look at the top fans, shall we? Donna, you're making the brownies. Lovely. Excellent. I know, Sally, it is meant to be good for cystitis. I used to really enjoy it.
Bread was good for cystitis.
No, cranberry juice, Paul.
Oh, I'm confused.
So number 10, Kevin. Number 9, Karen at the Plot. Number 8 is Sally RS. Number 7 is Tony. Number 6 is Donna. Number 5 is Derek. 4 is Jeanette. 3 is Kajagu. 2 is Grace. Woohoo! And number 1 is Leslie. Well done. I don't know how that's worked out. No idea. So we will see you on Sunday for what, Paul? For Sunday chat.
Sunday chat.
I'll see you on Sunday for Sunday chat. And then we will see you probably on Tuesday for a little cookery.
Tuesday chat.
No, it won't be Tuesday chat, Paul. I'll see you on Wednesday for the vlog. That's if I can get it together. And then we'll see you on Thursday as well for Rich and Paul Cook Christmas. So it'll be all about the dishes that we're doing for Christmas. And then Boxing Day for live. So we're around, we're doing stuff. And if an impromptu live pops up at some other point, then yes, thank you, MJ, ... If an impromptu live pops up at some point, so be it. So be it. But yes, we will be cooking the stuff that we're going to be eating on Christmas Day and showing you what we're doing because we're going to prep it in advance. So, yeah. Sorry, did we have a new person pop in then? Matthew.
Meekins.
Hello, Matthew. You've just found us and you're obsessed. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. We hope you stay obsessed. And as you can see, we're all very friendly, and we like to give people a warm welcome when they arrive as newbies. So thank you for that, Matthew. But we have been here for the hour, the allocated hour. So we're saying goodbye. We're in the process of saying goodbye. And it's kind of like when you're in a relationship with somebody new and you're the first one to put the phone down. I'm usually the first one to put the phone down. You see, people giving you a warm welcome. And now we're saying goodbye. Sorry about that. You'll have to watch the replay, Matthew, or feast on our huge selection of videos that are available. Has he? Oh, I missed that comment. I'm sorry.
It's further down.
Oh, good. So, yes, have a lovely Christmas. We'll be around. We'll be popping up. And, yeah, have a peaceful time. Don't go too crazy, everybody. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, which leaves you all a lot of scope. Not really. Have a great time. I wish everybody peace and contentment. Have a good time. Thank you for joining me this evening. I really appreciate it. And yeah, enjoy yourselves and stay calm. Above all, stay calm. I'm always good, Karen. And eat cake as much as possible. Or one of my cookery videos. Make a pie. Don't eat the video. Make the pie. Keep calm and carry on. Bye, everybody. Thank you for joining me. It's been fun and it's gone so quickly. I'm saying goodbye now. Ta-ra! Take care. Bye, everybody. I'm putting the phone down first. No, I am. I am. Look, there's my gloves and my finger. Bye. Bye, 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 bye.